name is Martha Higgins, and I'm the chair of QP Local 798's Health and Safety Committee, so we represent the Municipal Regional District and Library Workers. I'm also the member of the QPBC Health and Safety Committee, as well as co-chair of the Corporate Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee for the City of Powell River. We're gathered here today to observe the National Day of Mourning, and I'd like to start off by asking everyone to have a moment of silence to remember those who have been injured, diseased, or have been killed on the job. I would like to acknowledge the Klamath Nation whose territory we are in, the Powell River Regional District, and the City of Powell River. I'd like to also give a special shout out to the Regional District Cemetery caretakers for maintaining the cemetery and the Workers' Memorial. They do such a great job. Thank you. April 28th is the Day of Mourning. It's a day that honors workers who have lost their lives due to workplace injury or illness or disease. If you've been to previous ceremonies, you've heard me talk about the proud Canadian labour history the Day of Mourning brings, beginning with the passing of a resolution in 1984 by the Canadian Labour Congress for the National Day of Mourning. 6 years later, with the lobbying efforts of a great number of activists, the Day of Mourning was recognized by the government's passing of the National Day of Mourning Act in 1990. Canada was also the first country to recognize the Day of Mourning, and now decades later, it is recognized around the world. It is important that all of us, as a community and as a workplace, come together to pay tribute to workers who have died or succumbed to an occupational disease. I'm sure many of us know someone that was injured at work or got sick because of something they were exposed to on the job site. In fact, as you've heard, people here today have been affected. Some of us have lost family members, friends, co-workers, and others because of workplace incidents. As you've heard today, the impacts of these injuries, illnesses, and deaths is quite significant and far-reaching, not only because it is only the individual affected, but their families, their friends, the workplaces, and their communities also feel the effects in the moment and in the years following. Unfortunately, for all the progress that's made, there's still a long way to go, and there are still an unacceptable number of deaths, injuries, and exposures in the workplace today. WorkSafe BC reports, as you heard earlier, in 2017, 158 workers passed away as a result of workplace injury or exposure. That's one person every 2.3 days. And regrettably, it's only the bigger events that make the newscast. As I was confirming the numbers for 2017, I came across another sad statistic. WorkSafe BC reports that in a recent 3-week period of March 22nd to April 9th, there were 11 more people that died across the province of BC. Burnaby, Penticton, Quesnel, North Vancouver, Whistler, Vancouver, Port Alice, Golden, New Westminster, Elkford, and Prince Rupert were their locations. While these numbers are still staggering, we still don't get the full picture. These are only the accepted claims. This does not include the families, the friends, and the communities that are suffering as a result of these incidents, or those who have passed away where their illnesses were not linked to their workplace. It also doesn't include suffering from unreported mental illnesses stemming from the workplace. Employers have an obligation to comply with the Occupational Safety Regulation and Workers' Compensation Act in British Columbia. This means that workers have a right to a safe and healthy workplace. They have the right to be properly trained, the right to refuse unsafe work, the right to participate, and the right to no retaliation. But more than that legal obligation, it's the right thing to do. Employers owe it to their workers to ensure that they go home to their families, friends, and loved ones, healthy and safe at the end of each day. This is a time for all of us, as employers and workers, to talk openly and honestly and positively about the things that we can do to make our job sites safer, to improve staff training at all levels, and to ensure that everyone at work looks out for each other, not only for their physical safety, but mental safety as well. Along with this, there's a couple of key things that can be done along the way to enhance safety culture. The first is communication. Workers are to be encouraged to speak up, to ask questions, to be heard without the fear of retaliation for asking these questions regarding their safety. When these open conversations occur, everybody learns. Second is involvement. Studies show that when workers are involved in resolving issues or in creating safe work procedures, it creates a workplace with greater respect for safety and for each other. The City of Powell River has recently established new worksite committees, and I can see that this is already paying off. So today, we pause to remember the workers that have been injured or made ill, both mentally and physically, or paid the ultimate price because they went to work to provide for themselves and their families. No one goes to work expecting not to go home at the end of the day. So let's honor the fallen workers by making a new legacy for them. One that's more than just about what we've lost, but about what's inspired to make us better, so that everybody goes home healthy and safe. Let's make safety a personal habit. So in closing, I'd like to invite Diana Collicutt, QP Local 798, to lay the flowers and read the worker statement.
Hello everybody, thank you. April 28th, the day of mourning. The day of mourning offers us an opportunity to stand together with the world's workers to remember those who have died on the job and to reflect on what needs to be done to prevent more deaths and injuries. On April 28th, we remember all workers stricken with workplace illness, suffering injuries, or killed on the job. We remember children left without a parent and families facing hardship and deprivation. We remember young workers who are injured and killed at a much higher rate than mature workers. We remember women workers whose hazards are often unrecognized or ignored by health studies. We remember the working wounded who are forced to continue to work because they are denied fair compensation. We remember families and friends who have to nurse or care for ill or injured workers. The Day of Mourning was born of the values of the union movement. It was created by working people in their constant fight for decent, safe working conditions. Remembering that union struggles help us obtain laws and protections to make workplaces safe. We vow that an injury to one is an injury to all. We demand the enforcement of health and safety laws. We denounce those who place profits before workers' health. We proclaim our right to safe workplaces and respect on the job. So on April 28th, we reaffirm our solidarity and commitment to workplace health and safety and clearly state to all that we mourn the dead and we fight for the living. Thank you. Thanks, Martha.
Thanks, Diana. So I'd just like to thank everybody for coming today. It's an important day to remember. It's just an important day that we remember and that we continue to fight for the living. Thanks very much and have a great day and stay safe.
Good job, Martha.